it just got very real as the Chicago Bulls are locking in on acquiring Anthony Davis, as reports reveal that they are now having internal talks about acquiring him. Hi, I'm Shaq Barnes here with another great episode of Bulls Digest, the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls. I also noticed that 67% of you guys have been watching the channel and have not subscribed. Treat it like the Bulls intro and run right through that subscribe button. You know how I like to do my videos. I don't like to waste your guys' time. Let's get right into the news. So, the Chicago Bulls have discussed trading for Anthony Davis per JamalCollier. The Bulls have had internal discussions about how to proceed, including conversations about Dallas Mavericks star Anthony Davis, sources told ESPN, whom they believe could help the team's porous rim protection and defensive interior. I'm gonna be real with you. Anthony Davis is definitely the key component of that answer, and that would help the Chicago Bulls because our rim protection, as we know, and has not have been seen, it has been atrocious when it comes from just Vooch in general. But like I just said before, that I feel like I love Vooch. We all love Vooch, but if he's not scoring the ball, is Vooch really bringing anything to the table? Honestly, not. But a player like Anthony Davis, he would definitely add that, and he add the scoring ability of or the offensive ability that we get from Nikola Vucevic. Maybe not as good as a passer, but he can score at a higher clip than Nikola Vucevic, honestly. But he also brings the defensive side that Vuce doesn't bring at all. So I think that gives Anthony Davis the edge over Nikola Vucevic. But the only thing that's a problem with Anthony Davis is injuries. When Anthony Davis is on the floor, he's great. And then when he's locked in, he's elite, a bench top 10 player when he's fully healthy and locked in. Even the spurts we've seen with him on the Dallas Mavericks when he played, he still looks good. But the problem that we all have and we know and love, we know especially in here in Chicago, Anthony Davis he gets hurt a lot. That's the only problem with Anthony Davis. So now that I think the Bulls are seeing, because we started hot. We started hot this season. We was on point, so that made sense for us not to look into trading because we know we got a lot of expiring contracts, and Vooch is one of the main guys that's got to get traded this season. So I think that they let the Bulls rock in the beginning, but now we kind of hit the reality wall and what is truly going on with this team. So now you got to get back to what was the original game plan, and we got to add somebody, or people have to move off this team. And if Anthony Davis is the guy you can acquire, I say go for it, but it also just depends on what will be the price of Anthony Davis. But one of the main things that I would have been worried about is what will the Bulls give up to get Anthony Davis? That is like the main component that you're asking for. And don't get me wrong, Anthony Davis healthy, locked in, you know, it will probably cost us a lot. But with the injury history, I think the Bulls could maneuver things like that to like make sure they don't overpay and not get that. Because Dallas are trying to get a haul because you got to make it up to these fans because you traded Luka Doncic for this said player. The Bulls should not fall in this trap. And with this, another part of the report, when I did some deep diving, if this is true, I'm happy with how the Chicago Bulls are moving because we usually, if you're a true Bulls fan, we usually get the short end of the stick when it comes to trades. But to say, however, the Bulls aren't willing to take a chance at this point, per JamalCollier of ESPN. According to team sources, Chicago isn't going to let go of any of their core players to make room for Davis, at least until they become a contending team. I don't think going out to chase ex-megastar is the way to proceed, at least today, one source told ESPN. Now, this was around this time of the details, like a little bit earlier when the first conversation was going on. But to the main component that I took out, the main sentence that's more important than everything else that's around here is Chicago isn't going to let go of any of their core players to make room for Davis. That is a great sign. So that at least the Bulls know you're not going to come here and gut our roster just so you can get Anthony Davis and you fix your team. No, we are not doing that. And when I heard that, I looked more and more down this report, like, okay, who are the Bulls really considering as their core players? From what is seeming like, it said currently the Bulls have a young core that they are looking to build around, which includes Kobe White, Josh Giddey, and Buzelis. Plus, they see French rookie Noa Essengue, whose Billy Donovan has not played yet. Play Noa Essengue. The number 12 pick in the 2025 draft as he gradually solidified his place among that core. This makes me happy. Now I'm okay. If you telling me we gonna try to get Anthony Davis, we gonna keep Kobe White, Josh Giddey, Monty Buzelis, and in the process make room for Noa Essengue to play, I'm down for it. And you bet not trade more than one or two picks. And each pick better have protections on them. Every pick have top. I'd say the first one, you gotta give them whatever, make it top 5 protected, and not from this year's draft. They can't get this year's draft. They can get next year's. Next year's top 5 protected. This draft class is deep, so we have to get a player from this draft class. So keep this year's draft pick. Next year, make it top 5 protected. Cool. Then any pick after that, no less than top 10 lottery protected. Point blank period, and no more than 2. He could get a first in like 3, 4, 5 seconds. I'm cool with that. Or you get a 2 first, 1 top 5 protected, the other one top 10 lottery protected. Because at the end of the day, you got to have injury insurance because of Anthony Davis. Or you could put a clause in there like if Anthony Davis doesn't play X amount of games because of injuries, then you get your pick back. Something like that. And the Bulls, and how deals are done nowadays, you can maneuver and make things work in that favor. So with that being the case, if the Bulls do that and we keep those 4 players on the roster, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Let's bring Anthony Davis home. Because I think Anthony Davis' ability, if he healthy, he will unlock something different in this Chicago Bulls team because the defensive aspect that he would bring. And he has no problem running the floor. And he has the ability to knock down the open shot. And he has the ability of finishing at the rim. And his ability to play off ball and doesn't need the ball in his hands to be great doesn't steer us away from what we're doing as a team currently at this current point in time. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But do you remember this? And this is the one little last little trap I want to talk about so the Bulls do not fold. You remember how Mark Cuban said he wasn't going to trade Anthony Davis? He said we want to try to win now. You see how the tide has changed once the records and teams are played out because then now, Kyrie Irving going to be available. So when Anthony Davis trade, they're going to trade everybody. The Bulls do not fall for this trap. Stand firm, keep your core, and tell them, hey, look, you can have any other player on this roster, but these 4 players are untouchable, and you're not getting no more than 2 picks from us. If that's too much to ask and that's not what you want, I'm sorry. Hang up that phone. Do not force it. Do not force it. You have waited this long. You waited to trade so late. Don't jump the gun now, at all. Still got to get rid of Vooch. That's fine. We'll get Vooch somewhere else, and then we'll move on. Get a young big, and we'll move on. Do not force this Anthony Davis trade. We moving in the right direction because you also got to remember we gotta settle in with Kobe. But it is a good sign that they're telling me that the Bulls are still planning on keeping Kobe White. Now, when you add a player like Anthony Davis to the Chicago Bulls, right now at the current point of the season, he's playing 29 minutes a game, giving you 19 points, 9 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1 block per game, 1 steal per game, shooting 52% from the field and shooting 25% from 3. That's more like lower end of Anthony Davis' career. But I think him coming back to home to Chicago will rejuvenate him. Anthony Davis did come in this season kind of out of shape. If I think the Bulls trade for Anthony Davis this year, I do see him getting back into form maybe next season. Because now he'll be more focused, more locked in. He's back home. He's be motivated to play home because he didn't want to get traded to the Dallas Mavericks. But, I don't blame the Lakers. We had a chance to get Luka Doncic. I'm trading everybody. Everybody. LeBron could have probably got traded for Luka Doncic. I'm being honest with you. But I can see the vision as Anthony Davis in the Chicago Bulls uniform. And I can see him killing. And I can see him playing back at a top 10 player level if he gets traded to the Chicago Bulls. I really do. It won't be if this season. I'll say give him an off season, get in shape, and then they lock in, they build the team and mold it around how they wanted to build. I can see Anthony Davis being back elite. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Should the Bulls, with the information I just presented with you, should the Bulls go ahead and make the trade for Anthony Davis? They already said they're not giving up their core players to do it, but they down to listen to see what's going on. This has been Shaq Barnes. Here with another great episode of Bulls Are Just. See you guys on the next one. Peace out.